Hello friends, Miss Brown here. My friends, hello, it's Miss Brown here. Hello friends, and Miss Brown here. You are in for a treat. I'm so excited. It looks like we are ready to go. Which book will Miss Brown read? Miss Brown read, Miss Brown read. Which book will Miss Brown read? I wonder which book. Which book will Miss Brown read? Miss Brown read, Miss Brown read. Which book will Miss Brown read? I wonder what's the book? Hello friends, Miss Brown here, and you have joined Storytime with Miss Brown. Oh my goodness, friends. I found the most wonderful book for you in my library. I know I say that all the time, but it's true. I found this book. Well, I can't even tell you yet because I don't see you with your listening ears on yet. So we need to make sure we turn them on. Go ahead and turn on those listening ears. The name of the book I found is called John Henry, an American Legend, and the story and the pictures are done by Ezra Jack Keats. Have you heard this story before about John Henry? You haven't? Oh my goodness. Well, you've come on a wonderful day because I can't wait to read this book to you. Now it's a bit long, so that's why I had to make sure you turned on those listening ears. I need you to do one more thing for me. I need you to get in a comfortable spot. So whether that's on your couch or it's on your floor, wherever you want to get, wherever you want to sit, in order for it to be a comfortable spot for you, you sit there. And then I also want you to find something else that you like to be comforted with and that you enjoy having when we read together. So make sure that you have maybe your stuffed animal, or maybe you just have your grown up with you, or maybe you have a sibling with you that is going to listen to the story with you, because this is definitely a story that you need something else with. So it could be your favorite blanket. Yeah, it can be any of those things that are there with you to enjoy this book together, so you can enjoy this book together. Okay, you ready? Let's get started. John Henry, an American Legend. John Henry. A hush settled over the hills. The sky swirled soundlessly round the moon. The river stopped murmuring, the wind stopped whispering, and the frogs and the owls and the crickets fell silent, all watching and waiting and listening. Then the river roared. The wind whispered and whistled and sang. The frogs croaked, the owls hooted, and all the crickets chirped. Welcome, welcome, echoed through the hills. I wonder what they're welcoming. And John Henry was born with a hammer in his hand. Bang, 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 rang little John Henry's hammer through the cabin as he crawled about. What's that rascal up to now? His mother chuckled, and before she knew it, he was big enough to help her around the house. As he grew up, he did a man's work with his father. One day, John Henry thought, I'm taller and stronger than anyone around. It's time I went out into the world. He said goodbye to his mother and father, and off he went. He worked on farms and in cotton fields, but all that was too tame, so he got himself a job on a riverboat. Here he is saying goodbye. One stormy night, the ship plowed through the darkness. Suddenly, the big steel rod that turned the paddle wheel broke. The wheel stopped turning. Smash went the rod through the bottom of the ship. Pump water, shouted the captain. Get to port before we sink. John Henry leaped. There he is, leaping. Leaped to the paddle wheel crank. He seized it, pushed, and grunted and pulled. Slowly, the giant wheel turned. With all his strength, he kept it turning. Lord Almighty, help us, someone whispered in that long, dark night. As day broke, they sighted shore and pulled into port. A thunderous cheer went up for John Henry. Woo! Go John Henry! Woo! John Henry felt a new excitement in the air. Men were talking of railroads being built from the Atlantic to the Pacific. They're going to lay those tracks over rivers, across prairies and deserts, and right through the mountains. and through Indian lands and stampeding buffalo herds in bad lands. Goodbye, boys, cried John Henry. I'm going to swing me a hammer on them beautiful new tracks. My hands are just itching to hold a hammer again, John Henry said. He tried one for size and laughed. It sure does feel fine. How he drove those spikes, singing to the clanging of his hammer. Then men joined in, their voices singing, hammers ringing, and John Henry's gang was in the lead as day after day the tracks moved steadily westward. There they are, getting the train tracks. Rising across their path was a sprawling mountain range. Ooh. Its snow-capped peaks reached high into the clouds. We'll have to tunnel through, said his friend Little Bill. It'll be awful dangerous. Could be cave-in, someone put in. That suits me fine, said John Henry. Me too, added Little Bill. Here's how we'll do it, boys, the foreman called out. A couple of men will drive a hole into the rock. Then the powder men will put dynamite into the hole and explode it. The others will cart the loose rock away. We'll do this again and again until we have a tunnel right through this mountain. And it's going to be a real big tunnel, boys. Big enough for a giant locomotive pulling one of them long strings of trains. All right, boys, blast away. I'm going to pause there for one moment. So what's happening is that this mountain is in the way of them trying to put the railroad tracks down and make it go westward, right? So this is in the way. So what they've decided to do, since they can't go around the mountains, is that they are going to blow up. They're going to drill a hole in the mountain and they're going to blow up piece by piece by piece. And then as the pieces come out, so as the rocks come out, they're going to take the rocks and put them somewhere else until they have a clear opening inside the mountain. All right, ready? Let's keep going. Deep into the mountain they worked as John Henry's singing echoed through the tunnel. The powder men get ready to blast more rock. They filled a hole with dynamite, put it in a long fuse, and lit it. Run, men! Cried the foreman. They all scrambled back, ready to dash clear of the blast. At that instant came a great crackling and rumbling, and the entire tunnel trembled around them. It's a cave-in! We're trapped! There was no place to run. The fuse burned closer to the dynamite. John Henry was nearest to the fuse. He ran to put it out, but tripped and fell. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh, I'm hurt bad, he groaned. I can't get up. The fuse burned farther out of reach. Others rushed toward it, but they were too far away. Suddenly, John Henry remembered he still had his hammer in his hand. Down came the hammer. Smack! On the burning tip. There he is. He's taking out that fire of that explosive. The fuse was out. Danger past. Sighs of relief filled the smoky tunnel. Whew. Help me up, boys, mumbled John Henry. Clearing their way through the cave-in, the men carried him to safety. Some days later, they heard an unfamiliar clatter. Down the tunnel came a group of men with a strange machine. This is a steam drill. It can drill more holes faster than any 6 men combined. A new man bragged. Who can beat that? Oh, wow, look at this new machine. John Henry stepped forward. Try me. He and Little Bill took their workplaces. John Henry gripped his hammer. Little Bill clutched his steel drill. Check the machine, came an order. A nervous hand fell on the switch. In the dark, both sides waited for the signal to start. A hoarse voice counted. 1, 2, 3. So what they're doing is John Henry is challenging the machine because the guy said, oh, this machine is faster than 6 men. And so John Henry's like, well, it's not faster than me and Little Bill. So we shall see. We shall see. The machine shrieked As it started, John Henry swung his hammer and a crash of steel on steel split the air. Clang, bang, clang. Clang, bang, clang. Say it with me. Clang, bang, clang. Yeah, we're doing our work just like John Henry making that railroad. All right. The drill got red hot in Little Bill's hands. He quickly dropped it and picked up another. Hiss, whistle, rattle. Hiss, whistle, rattle. Hiss, whistle, rattle. Yes. Men frantically heaved coal into the hungry, roaring engine and poured water into the steaming boiler. I wonder who's going to be faster. Whoop, clang, whoop, bang! John Henry's hammer whistled as he swung it. Chug-chug, clatter, rattled the machine. Hour after hour raced by. The machine was ahead. Oh, no! Hand me that 20-pound hammer, Little Bill. Harder and faster crashed the hammer. Great chunks of rock fell as John Henry ripped hole after hole into the tunnel wall. The machine rattled and whistled and drilled even faster. Friends doused John Henry and Little Bill with cold water to keep them going. Whew. Then John Henry took a deep breath, picked up 2 sledgehammers and sang, "Ain't no hammers strike such fire, strike like lightning." Miss Brown is not going to sing this. Ain't no hammers strike such fire, strike like lightning, Lord, and I won't tire. Hammers like this, Lord, there's never been. I'll keep swinging them, Lord, until we win. John Henry swung both mighty hammers faster and faster. He moved so fast the men could see only a blur and sparks from his striking hammers. Can you imagine someone moving so fast that all you saw was a blur? Whew, that's fast. His strokes rang out like great heartbeats. At the other side of the tunnel, the machine shrieked, groaned, and rattled and drilled. Then all at once it shook and shuddered, wheezed, and stopped. Frantically, men worked to get it going again, but they couldn't. It had collapsed. John Henry's hammering still rang and echoed through the tunnel with a strong and steady beat. Ooh, so that machine stopped working, and it looks like John Henry kept going. I wonder if they can get the machine back working. Suddenly, there was a great crash. Light streamed into the dark tunnel. John Henry had broken through. Wild cries of joy burst from the men. Still holding one of his hammers, John Henry stepped out into the glowing light of a dying day. It was the last step he ever took. Even the great heart of John Henry could not bear the strain of his last task. John Henry died with his hammer in his hand. If you listen to the locomotives roaring through the tunnels and across the land, you'll hear them singing of that great still driving man, John Henry. Listen. He and. All right, friends, that was John Henry, an American legend. Now, the thing about John Henry is that there's so many different books about John Henry. He is not a real person, but he is an American legend. This is considered a folk tale, a tall tale. It's a story that started here in America and continues on for generations and generations and generations. And so, because it's a story that kind of was told word of mouth before it was ever written, so there are a bunch of different variations. This one's one of my favorites. I just love the story, how the story is told. And so I also love the illustrations of this version as well. John Henry was a great hero. I really enjoy reading his book. I really hope that you enjoyed listening to it and will hopefully add it to your library. Okay, that's all I have today. All right, friends, have the best day ever. Miss Brown, over and out. Goodbye.